Welcome back and welcome to another reading, Libra. This will be a reading for February for wherever you have Libra in your chart. If you don't have strong Libra, that's okay too. I welcome you all the same. If it's your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it, thank you. And if you're returning, it's good to see you again. I kind of want to ease into this reading, Libra. That's the way I feel about this one, but I also at the same time want to keep it brief, So I'm gonna try to do both. But the energy right now, or at least the approach, how your energy feels this month. Those cathartic conversations that you have with your closest friends or friend and or significant other, and it just carries on into it just lasts for hours, and you get to talk about everything that your heart desires. You get to talk about, you get to talk to someone who gets it. And it's like you reach an understanding just because you kind of have that soundboard to bounce your ideas off of. So picture that, like setting that scene, like that's very much the vibe. I think that you guys might need one of those if you're not getting that, or you're having a lot of them this month. Yeah, you do need to get something off your chest. It's like you need to put this weight down. It's like you need to put something down. It's been really weighing hard on your spirit. Just fell out, we'll take it. That doesn't even belong in this deck. But there you are, Libra. And this card says South. We're going to keep it. I don't think that was a mistake. We'll just put that off to the side. So the South may be significant. Interesting. So you're very abundant around this time. I feel like everything in your life is amplified. It's and by everything being amplified, it's like you have a lot. There's a lot of abundance. It's like there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of pent up frustrations, pent up emotions, and I think that you want to do something with them. There is this push, and I don't think it's just now. I think it's always sort of been this way, but it's just maybe more. We have more access to it. We can see it better because of social media and how everything is recorded, and everything is tracked. It's just everyone wants to be the center of attention, and there are people who don't want to be the center of attention, but what they all have in common, I feel, is this desire to have really nice things and to live an aesthetically pleasing life. Everyone is trying to achieve that dream. And it's like they try to get the best for themselves. That's what they're all working towards, and it's like when this is all on camera, or it's like when people are watching, the tendency is to perform, or to feel like you have to perform, or to feel like you have to compete, that you have to put on a show, that you have to conceal how you really feel. And I think that because there's so much of it going on as well, I think that people forget that it's important to be beautiful within. It's important for that to start from within. It must be generated, you know, like that's something that we must consciously work on, that we must constantly strive to improve. So there's this step away from superficiality, or that step needs to happen. I think this month you just want to get real. Some of you might be preparing a statement or preparing statements of some kind. I'm also getting dissertation, opening remarks. Yeah, very public. Some of these messages are quite specific, but I'm just channeling with the Page of Swords. So I'm just going to, we are going to talk about these again, and we'll talk about the month as a whole. You feel like you're right, like your version of the story is right, like you got it figured out, and you may. But that's definitely a matter of perspective with the Hierophant card coming out. Not saying you're wrong. Not saying you're wrong, but I'm not saying you're right. I think we got a good feel for what's happening this month. How is the lighting? I might get some more light in the second half. It's interesting because like when I'm doing the reading, I always feel like there needs to be more light, but like when I'm uploading it and like processing it like I like it. But I'm doing this all from my phone, so we're gonna get to those. Juicy. Oh, okay. So overall energy for February is the 10 of Wands. And this has everything to do with what you've been carrying, Libra. Like, this doesn't feel good. But I like that it's a 10 because that tells us that it's pretty close to ending if it hasn't already ended. This month will be the month where things wrap up more or less, or at least the burden gets easier for you to bear, whether that's because you get used to carrying it, and by used to carrying it, I mean that you found a way to live through it. You found a way to live your life and not let it get the better of you, or you find an out. You find a way to escape it. You find a way to resolve it. It's one or the other. So there could be other people involved in this reading, a lot of influences. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a lot of opinions, particularly in the form of a Leo or a Capricorn. But with the Six of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles, the message that's coming through is the kids are all right. There's another energy here with the Six of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles that's like, it has something to do with emotional balance, and it has something to do with having control over your feelings, having control over your emotions. And I think that that's something that you guys are working on. And I think that that is related to your desire to really come to an understanding and make up your mind about what you're going to do with some situation here this month. I think that you become very clear on that. I think I do see you communicating that to whoever it is you feel needs to hear it the most. The Judgment card being there, though, tells me that you need to filter the energy that's coming through to you. You need to filter those opinions that are being expressed to you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take advantage of counsel and take advantage of advice if it is helpful to you and for your highest good. But I do think that you should also, not pass off any of this responsibility onto anyone else when it's yours to figure out, when it's yours to handle. That advice, if it's coming from someone that you trust, could definitely have a positive effect on your life and put things in perspective for you. But it just, depending on your understanding of it, depending on what they say, the way that it resonates with you, I do think that you're susceptible to how it will impact your actions and impact, at the very least, how bold you feel about some of the things that you want to communicate. This is why I say we must pass it through a filter. You know right from wrong. You know what the right thing to do is. So I think that the first week, if it's too late and you've already spilled the beans and you have already said something that you can't take back, I would say that if you were being honest, I would say that if your intentions were pure and not rooted in any kind of desire to get revenge or to really, punish someone for what they're putting you through, that you don't really have to worry too much about that message that you conveyed. I think you can be proud of what you said. It's not as cringy as you might think it is. So deep breaths. I have my cup of tea. I suggest you grab one too if you'd like, or a glass of wine, or coffee, depending on when you're watching this. So yes, we must, it is, it's nice to want to live an aesthetically pleasing life and have everything look the way that you feel like it should look and have everything go the way that it should go. it's important as well to have an aesthetically pleasing soul, if that makes sense. You know, one that we are in tune with, one that we are attuned to. I think it will help you focus on what matters to focus on the truth. And you know right from wrong, you know what's right, you know what the right thing to do is, you know what the right thing to say is. I think the only challenge this month is when knowing what the right thing to do is and doing the actual doing the thing are in conflict with each other, when they bump up against each other. Knowing the path and walking the path are two different things. The answer that you might be feeling like is eluding you, that one thing that you might feel like you have no control over, that you can't figure out, can also be the one thing that has the simplest answer, the easiest answer, and all you must do is acknowledge it, is accept it, and to stop being so stubborn. Now, I don't think that it's just stubborn, plain and simple. It's more than that, right? Because to say that you don't want what's best is not true. I just think that sometimes some of the things that we want to accept, or that we should accept, rather, are the most difficult. There's some type of arrangement here, and I think that the effect that it has had on your life, the effect that it's had on your feelings, the effect it's had on your actions, it's like the biggest thing that it's had an effect on is the way that you view yourself, and or the way that your perception of what your value is, your perception of what your purpose is. And I think that this is the effect of you're dealing with an energy that is not compromising. And I think that there's a standard that you like to uphold as well. But I think that maybe because of how hard it is sometimes for you to be truly understood, for you to be seen, it's like your message can get lost in translation with this person and they misunderstand you. And what hurts maybe even more is that they misunderstand your character. Maybe after a time, I don't think that you believe them. But I do think that if you're dealing with an energy that is, if you're coming up against something that seems unchangeable, or if it's something that you run into, that you experience routinely, I can definitely see yourself asking the question of whether or not you're the problem. And depending on the person that you're dealing with, you know, that may be a valid question to ask yourself just from a self-awareness standpoint, but it could also be the result of this like gradual gaslighting or manipulating that has been taking place over time. So what's nice about this month is that definitely gets wrapped up with the Ace of Cups and the Three of Cups. Rejoice. rejoice. And how it gets wrapped up, you know, it doesn't make you forget your version of the story. Rather, that's the advice, is that you shouldn't forget your version of the story. What's more important, you shouldn't forget the truth. This card here, the first one, plant medicine, and it says their truth at the bottom. This is definitely one of my favorites in this deck. But this card is all about acceptance. It's all about acceptance. And it's like the truth is there if you want it. It came up in the reading. You know what it is. But it's just about acting on it. You could also be dealing with someone who smokes a lot of weed, or you could. 'Cause plant medicine. The next we got here is sacred site, purpose. There is something this month that keeps you going. And I think that that's really nice to see, that is really encouraging you to not lose the vision, to not stop working, to focus on what matters, to focus on what means something to you, what you value, what you want to see thrive, the things that you want to preserve. Fight for them if you must, and don't give up on them. Next we got here bones for casting, divination. Again, the universe is throwing you a bone here, but it's just there for you to acknowledge it. This is also very blessed reading when that card, when the divination card comes out. So I'm getting like this too shall pass energy. You could be dealing with someone whose first or last name starts with a V, a W, or an X. The letters J, K, and L. Ghost. The situation this month could involve ghosting. There's also that movie, Ghost, with Whoopi Goldberg and Patrick Swayze. There's that line. There's that line in the movie where she's like, Molly, you in danger, girl. I don't know if her name is Molly, but it's... Oh my gosh, that just came to mind. Gaslighting. I saw this one earlier when it fell out, so that's where I was picking up on that energy from. East. The letters P, Q, and R. The number 3. Joy. Rejoice. I like how that just falls out on top of that. You could be dealing with a Taurus. Taurus is right there too. The month of October may be important, and the first one that came out earlier, the South card. All right, this was your read. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.